Hello friends, my name is Steve Moore and I'm the owner of this beautiful running shop behind me called Run More, located in beautiful Westminster, Maryland. Today we're going to be talking about the new Hoka Clifton 7. Now this originally was supposed to come out in June of 2020, but with everything that has sort of happened in the world, it has been pushed back. So I'm recording this at the end of July and this is coming out August 1st. And we're actually going to have a bunch of shoes coming out August 1st that originally were geared to come out earlier in the summer. So there's going to be a bottleneck of stuff that's coming out, which is great because it's always fun to go in and see a lot of new fun stuff on the wall. So today we're going to be talking about the Clifton 7. This is the most popular shoe that Hoka makes. This is really what got the brand going, what a lot of people come in and talk about. We've been carrying Hoka since we opened in 2014. So we've seen a lot of different versions of this shoe come down the pipeline. And we've seen a lot of different other models of shoes spurred from this shoe. So it's been really fun for us because we've seen stuff that has really grown and improved, not only in technology, but aesthetically. When we first were carrying this shoe in 2014, it was really ugly. Like pretty much all the Hokas were ugly, and it was a tough sell sometimes to put people in it and be like, no, trust me, walk around, run it, see what you think, because it's a really cool shoe. But they were so goofy looking, and a lot of people, they want to be looking good as well as having the nice technology under the foot. So they've gotten so much better looking, and the shoe has just improved in a lot of different ways throughout the years. So this is a mid-cushion neutral shoe from Hoka. So it looks really big. It looks like it's a big bulky shoe, but it's very light. So you could pull this shoe up against, a fan favorite like the Brooks Ghost. So this is the men's Brooks Ghost. And so it's kind of hard to think that this shoe might be in the same family of shoe as this, that you could pull each shoe for different people or for the same person and be totally fine. And yet you can. So this is your everyday workhorse shoe from Hoka. There's a lot of people that use this as a race day shoe. There's a lot of people that use this for a long distance trainer. A lot of people that just walk in this shoe. But technically this is to me, this is your everyday workhorse shoe. The big technology with Hoka, if you're not sort of familiar, is their idea of rolling you smoothly and efficiently forward. The idea of a wheel on a shoe. That's sort of the genesis of this brand, is finding a shoe that's efficient, that will smoothly move you along from heel to toe. And this being their mid-smack, right smack in the middle with not too much weight, not too much lightness to it, is that perfect everyday trainer. So if you're looking for something a little bit different in the Hoka family, I'm just going to kind of walk you through the family of tree here, the tree family as I call it, is just sort of looking to see the bigger branches to the lighter branches to see where it falls in with you. So this being your everyday training shoe from Hoka, if you wanted something that was a little bit bigger, something that's a little bit beefier, maybe if you are just a bigger frame, longer miles, bigger cushion, whatever the variety of reasons may be where you want something just a little more beefy, here is the Bondi 7. So it's a little bit denser through there. It's just a little bit more of a shoe. It weighs more. Bondi 7. If you wanted something with a little bit less to it, you wanted something that was more a fast-paced workout or race shoe, and you've been running in the Clifton, you might look to something like the Rincon 2. So this shoe is lighter, it's faster, the price point is less, it's just everything about it a little bit less, and it has a little more roll to it by design. And then if you were going real crazy and you wanted something for that race day and you were looking to be more on that elite level perhaps, the Carbon X. This is their big bad $180 shoe. I can't even hold it because it just wants to go so bad. So this is their fastest shoe, is the Carbon X. And then they also have a companion shoe to the Clifton called the Arahi. Now the Arahi is a light stability shoe. So it looks a lot like the Clifton. It has a lot of the same characteristics. The weight is very similar, but the big difference between the two is the J frame. So if you see, this has that dark J that kind of goes around it, and this one does not. The big difference with the Arahi being, if somebody who overpronates, who needs a little bit more arch support, that little extra density on the midfoot will kind of help guide you back out to a neutral pose. So none of that on the Clifton. So that is why it is a neutral mid-cushion shoe. So where the kind of differences between previous generations and this one, that's what everybody always likes to kind of know in these things. So the weight has gone down, nothing dramatic, but from the men we went from 9.4 down to 9, and the women we went down from 7.4 down to 7.1. So we did shave some weight there, nothing too dramatic, but it is a little bit lighter. Now if you can kind of tell, one big difference right away is the new heel cup to it. So compared to our old guy, and this has been really traditional for most of the Hoka shoes over the years. They had this little tab on the back to kind of rip on and off. Now we've gotten away from that. And so it's got this much smoother, rounded, sort of easy step-in feel. I guess you could always have this thing with like a lock lace on it, slide it in and go. Maybe you're looking for a transition shoe for triathlons, whatever it may be. We've made this shoe a little more efficient here. Fine, feels great putting it on. The upper to me is way better. We had some fit issues on the Clifton 6. Nothing crazy, but it seemed like it just felt wide on people. Like the material was a little more flexible than I would like. It just didn't seem like for some people it fit super nice. While this shoe isn't any narrower, it just seems to fit better. And I think the upper is a big reason why. It's very, very breathable. If people like the airiness and the breathability of the 6, to me this feels even better. It really does. Even though it looks like it might be a little more tight, it looks like it's going to be more narrow. It is in a good way. It just kind of hugs your foot in a little better way, so you're not sliding around so much. People that came in that had more of a narrow foot, they look like they were swimming in this shoe. And a lot of times the sizing would kind of get screwy on it because you couldn't just fit the person right. You would see that their foot was sliding around. It almost, would bend up on them. The material would kind of get that crease through here because it was just a lot. This is much more dialed in. It just seems to fit your foot much better. So a nice update here. And again, the old Clifton, the Clifton 6, I felt ran just a smidge big. I think this one just a tiny bit big, so but not a bad way because sometimes you just need a little bit more accommodation. Again, while this still gives nice width to it, the new material doesn't make it feel like it's closing in on you to the point where you need to go wide. This shoe is available in wide. It does come in, and for the guys, it will go up to a 2E, and the female will go up to a D. It doesn't go into a super wide yet. There are some Hoka models coming down the pipeline this year, like the Bondi, that will come out in a 4E on the men. So there are some options coming down for really, really wide stuff. But the Clifton is still our mid-cushion shoe, and so right now they're just doing a standard wide width, not a super wide to it. So, in addition to the upper being a little bit different, we now have sort of a little sewn in feel on the tongue. Down here, they just a little bit of like a netting that they put in here, and that also helps kind of make sure that the tongue on the shoe isn't roaming too much, but it also helps with the fit process. Once you tie it, it does just seem to hold you in a better spot. That has been a nice update with this. And because I felt like the sizing on the 6 was better, I feel like the sizing is better on here, that had also been a problem on some other Hoka models down the road that we've been feeling with. There's been shoes that have kind of been all over the place from an old mock and to stuff like a Clifton a couple years ago that I had to wear in a wide because I needed a wide. I wouldn't need to do that with this. I just have a naturally wider forefoot anyway, and this shoe definitely accommodates it without feeling like I would be awkward putting somebody in the shoe that just has a standard or maybe just a pinch narrow. Sometimes I wouldn't want to put them in a Clifton or in a Clifton previously because I felt like they'd swim in it. Doesn't seem to be an issue with this one thus far. So that's a nice update to it. The softness, that is always something that people, a lot of hot discussion on the comments and such on a lot of the forums and such on the Clifton, because they had, coming out of the gate, it was so soft and marshmallowy and all that good jazz. And then throughout the years, it was getting firmer and people were ticked. So they would come in here and we would get calls all the time of like, do you have this old model? Because I hate the new model. What do they do? Tell the people over there to soften that shoe up. I have no communication with them, so that's not really my jurisdiction. But there was a lot of people that were ticked about some previous generations of the shoe. And then it got softer again. And if you like the softness of 6, I think you'll like 7. It feels very, very similar. It's still nice and squishy and spongy. And even the bottom, if you're kind of looking at the tread line, they really did stick to a lot of the stuff that has worked for them. So the strategic spots that they were putting extra rubber on the outside to give a little extra durability, to provide a little better landing spot is still there. How did I lose a shoe just that quick? Sorry, I got shoes all over the place. They really haven't changed too much of that to it because that has worked for them over the years. So a lot of the aesthetics on the outer and some of the little pieces that they have here to help with durability and to give you a little better landing zone and a little more protection is going to be there. So this shoe is great for that everyday training shoe. So if you are training from anywhere, look, you're getting into running, you're brand new, and you're looking for a shoe to do from a mile, and you're going to go up to maybe, let's just say 10 miles, half marathon. This shoe is great. I also like this shoe a lot because of the way this is designed to kind of roll you from heel to toe. If somebody is new to running or somebody who's doing a Galloway program, a Couch to 5K program, and might be incorporating some walking into running, I pull this shoe quite frequently because a lot of times you're kind of naturally back here on your heel. You're walking, you're doing like that nice little rolly sensation anyway. It just kind of gravitates well. It seems to mend well with people that are doing that. So we really like this shoe a lot for people that are getting into running, getting into a program, doing a walk run, or somebody who's even just doing a lot of just straight walking. This is a really popular shoe. Because it is so light, because it is so airy, because it is so cushioned, because it is so forgiving, this is one of the most popular shoes for people to wear all the time, walking to work, everyday comfort. We're seeing this shoe pop up more and more. And this brand in particular, we're just seeing it more and more pop up on people, celebrities, golf caddies. If you're just sort of looking around in the everyday world, you're seeing this a lot. We have a hospital not far down the road from us, and we have a lot of the nurses and staff that come in here and get Hokas, and their friends will tell them to come in and get the big clown shoe, to get the big tall shoe, and they'll come in and say, my friend, I don't know why people have a hard time saying Hoka, by the way. They'll come in and say, I'm here for the Hoka, the Hopa, all that kind of stuff. We know what they're talking about. And most of the time they're walking out with the Clifton. Because while there is some stuff that's heavier and such, this just being that great everyday shoe really tends to gravitate well for that all-day use. So You can see that the stack height is really tall on this shoe. You know, the middle of the shoe, really high, a lot of big light cushion to it. It's a bit counterintuitive because if you're looking at the profile, it looks like the heel to toe drop is just massive. It looks like it's really ramped here. It's a bit of an optical illusion. It still hasn't changed much. It's still in that 5.5 range of heel to toe drop. When you're looking at something like the Ghost, this has a 12 millimeter heel to toe drop. So again, it looks I'm doing a terrible job here. It looks like the heel is way higher here than compared to the other shoe, but it's not. You actually have a lower heel to toe drop here, so your offset isn't as bad. And because of that sort of optical illusion where instead of sitting up here, you're sort of in the middle of this, it does provide some natural inherent stability to it. So while if you are somebody who just slightly overpronates or slightly underpronates, this shoe is just fine for that because of that inherent stability that this shoe carries with it. The inside is sort of built, if you think about it, like we have to think like a canoe in water, so you're sort of sit into the shoe, so it's harder to go side to side. So that makes the shoe, again, advantageous for people that are doing a ton of different things all day, walking in it all day, anything in it. There is one thing that I will say that I don't necessarily love this model Hoka for, or really most of the Hoka models. If somebody's looking to do gym stuff, I'm just not a fan of this shoe for that because the stack height is tall. If somebody's doing stuff that's side to side, it can be kind of top heavy this way. I just find that it's easy to twist an ankle. People all the time say they don't feel very stable in this shoe. They feel like they're doing this way too much if they're doing things that are side to side. And because it is just shaped somewhat goofy, I guess that's a nice way to say it, it might not be great sliding in and doing work on like an elliptical and such. So this to me is much more of a run walk shoe than it would be an everyday gym shoe. But it's still something you can do and wear around and such, professional, all that good jazz. So it has been a great shoe for us. We're really excited for the updated version of the Clifton 7. This will be around for a whole year. Again, this was supposed to be in June. It's now going to be in August. Comes in a bunch of different fun colors. Comes in a wide version as well as standard version. No narrow version. If you have any questions on the Clifton 7, feel free to leave it down below in the comments. I'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. If you want to purchase this shoe or anything else on our website, we would appreciate it. If you enter the promo code RUNMORE with no space, just RUNMORE, 2 O's and more, just like my last name, you'll get 10% off and we'll ship it out for free. So thank you so much, and if you enjoyed this, give us a like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Thanks so much. Keep running, and we'll see you out there.